In this video, we are going to be working on inequalities and how we graph them. The first problem we are going to be looking at is V is greater than 11. Let's quick stop for a second and figure out how I know this is greater than. Well, the bigger side of the sign always goes next to the bigger number. So, if the bigger side is next to the V, that means that V is bigger than 11. So the first step that you will need to do is describe what numbers V can be in words. So you're going to say V can be any number bigger than 11. Now we are going to graph it. So I look and see, what is my number in the problem? Well, it's 11. So I draw a circle at 11. Then I need to think, do I color this circle in? Yes or no? Well, I look at the inequality, and if there's not an equal to along with the greater than, then I don't color it in. I leave it open. Then I need to decide which direction I draw my line in. So I think, what numbers can V be? Well, V can be numbers bigger than 11. So which direction has numbers bigger than 11? This direction. So I will draw my line in that direction with an arrow at the end. Now let's try this one. R is less than or equal to 3. Small side, smaller number, which means R is smaller than 3. So I need to describe this in words. R can be any number less than or equal to 3. Now I'm going to graph it. So what is my number here? A 3. So I will draw a circle at 3. Then I decide, do I color this in? Well, it can be equal to 3 too. So yes, I do color it in. Then I need to decide which direction I draw my line in. So I think, what numbers can R be? Well, anything less than 3. So this is the direction that is less than 3. So that is the direction I will draw my line in. Now try this one on your own. So write down on a piece of paper what it means, what numbers can S be, then graph what it can be. When you are done with that, play the video and check your answers with what I have. So pause it to work for a second and then play it again to check your answers. So here's what you should have. S can be any number less than 7, and I graph it. The circle is at 7. It's not colored in because it can't be equal to 7, and it's anything smaller than 7, so my line goes in this direction. If you got something wrong, check to see what went wrong for you and how you could fix it. Here's our next one. So write down what it means, how you would graph it. Pause the video to work on this. When you think you have an answer, play it again and compare your work to mine. So this is what you should have. A can be any number greater than or equal to 2. My number is 2, so I draw the dot at 2. I color it in because it can be equal to 2. Then it's any number that's bigger than 2. So I draw my line in this direction. Now here's a word problem like what you might see on your test. The maximum speed is 30 miles per hour and the minimum speed is 23 miles per hour. So you'll have to do these 4 tasks with this problem. So the first thing is to define a variable. So when I see the word define, that's like definition. It's telling me I need to explain, what does the variable mean in this problem? So I need to think about, what am I counting? What am I measuring? And then pick a letter. So let's see. I'm going to say S. S is, what am I counting or measuring? Well, the speed in miles per hour. Now I need to think of inequalities to model the problem. Remember, an inequality is when you have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So you're going to write inequalities using these symbols. So if it says the maximum speed is 30 miles per hour, that means the most it can be is 30. So S, it can't be bigger than 30. That must mean it has to be less than 30. But then it says the maximum is 30. So could it be equal to 30? Sure. So less than or equal to 30. Then it also says the minimum speed is 23. So could I go 10 miles per hour? No, because the minimum is 23. So S needs to be bigger than 23 too. But if it says the minimum is 23, it could be equal to 23 too. So these are the two inequalities you need to have. Now we are going to graph them. So I find my numbers, so 30 and then 23. It's about right there. Now I need to think, do I color these in? 30, yep, it could be equal to 30, so I'll color that one in. 23, could it be equal to 23? Yep, so I'll color that one in too. Now, to figure out where I draw my line, I think, what numbers could it be? Could I have 10, 0, 20? No, because it needs to be bigger than 23. But could I have 40, 50, 60? No, because it needs to be less than 30. So the only places it can be are right in between the dots. Now in the next part, explain how your graph represents the problem. All you're going to do is explain why you made the choices you did. Why did you draw the dots here? Why did you color them in? Why did you draw the line here? You're going to explain it like this. The speed has to be between 23 and 30 miles per hour. Oops, typo here. It can be equal to 23 or 32, which is why they're colored in. So it's just a short description of the problem and how the graph represents the problem. Now you will try this problem on your own. So write your answers on a piece of paper, pause the video while you solve it, then play it and compare your answers to mine. These are the answers that you should have. Defining a variable. So pick a letter and you'll say, so for example, X is the temperature. The inequalities, X is less than or equal to 35, X is greater than or equal to 10. I have my graph and I filled in the circles because it could be equal to. Then my explanation, the temperature needs to be between 10 and 35 degrees. It can equal 10 and 35 too, which is why the circles are colored in. So if you made mistakes, figure out where you went wrong and fix them. That is the end of this tutorial, so hopefully you feel a little bit more comfortable on how to do problems like this.